They have the hard-hitting analysis.
I'm anti-injury, so maybe this won't work out.
Kyler's only playing one tight end this week, so that's probably going to help him out a lot.
They tell it like it is.
That's not what I needed, Grandma Nut.
All right, the hipster fantasy player.
I don't do anything.
Their listeners love them.
Found all your charts boring, to be frank. Caitlin was the star of the show.
They break down all the statistics.
20 points. That doesn't quite add up. Maybe he had 93.
This is the Snick Snack Sports Podcast.
Here we... All right, Snickers, help me out.
What's going on, all you fantasy football fans out there? Welcome back to another episode of Snick Snack Sports Fantasy Football Podcast. What's up, Nate?
Hey, Nick. Nice work. I can't tell. Did you finish the beer or not?
It's all gone. I forgot how to do a shotgun, so I just chugged it.
Just checked it, which is arguably harder.
It is, yeah. Oh,
But why were you checking that beer?
but what's up?
Why were you checking that beer?
Just for fun, just for practice. But no,
Just for
we had a
practice?
bet last week. It was mano y mano here, and he manoed me.
I did win. We finished 1-1 on the season for the rivalry week. Um, because you did win at the beginning of the season, and I did do jalapenos for that. Got off easy, it looks like, because you had the option to do jalapenos, but decided since you didn't have any in the fridge today, you'd go for the chug. In the vein of Nick Adams, has had a couple of impressive shotguns this year.
Mm,
Certainly, he's beaten the 45 seconds that it takes to get through the intro, but
yeah, I did not think I was going to finish that.
I'm impressed that you did. And we're back at you. Another episode of the podcast. The season just ended. It's the playoffs. Sadly, my team did finish in seventh, as I'm sure everyone listening knows, and did not make the playoffs. It was a really fun week, though. I will say, tons of drama. I loved. He was on texting with Ducky throughout, who was convinced he would be knocked out of the playoffs by my team. It came really close. He needed basically to go 0-2 while I went 2-0 to lose. I did go 2-0. He had arguably a very lucky week in that he had a very mediocre week, got 102 points, but was good enough for
I think fifth.
fifth place on the week.
Yeah.
The line on the week was the lowest of the season, even lower than the week one, which I believe was 98 or 99 points. This one was 97 points for Katie, who went 2-0 in the week to nab third place.
Hmm. Yeah, no, watching the standings flip back and forth. I know I did a lot of math last week on the show. It's a lot of fun to just watch how it ended. It was kind of disappointing for a lot of teams if you're not Kyle to not score a lot of points, but still there were 5 or 6 teams hovering right around the 100-point barrier there. That it was going to be pretty close no matter what. I thought for a good amount of show. If Justin Herbert had a good game, I would have been easily the 5 or 6 seed last week. But no, I'm happy where my team is. We get another week off, get to relax, to chill out, and wait to see who we're facing next week in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. And it sounds like you did go 0-4 to end the season, and now you have the week off. Is that how are the guys feeling about that?
They're feeling good. It was intentional. Obviously, if we get a win, it would have been nice, but we knew that nothing was going to happen as far as standings movement, probably. So I have a couple players. Ibuka has been, having a bad run of it. I'm gonna let him sit for a week. I have a couple of guys gonna let them sit for week T. Obviously, with concussion, you can chill out. Don't worry about playing this week. We'll come back next week very strong.
Yeah, your guys still do get to play this week against nobody, I guess for no reason, but you'll get to see what the score is. Maybe it'll be a little confidence booster or just you know, play for fun, you could say.
Hmm.
But we have the final standings here. Again, our first year of having the 2 wins per week, one against your direct opponent, one against the league median. And I liked it. I know that some people didn't like it, but on the whole, I think the league did. And though head-to-head matchup, it still feels like the more important matchup on the week. I did like just the interesting playoff scenarios it led to last week. It would have been simple otherwise. I think that I simply would not have been able to make the playoffs
Hmm.
otherwise. Um, but here there was all those complex things. Well, if Katie wins but loses against the league, and Shane loses but wins against the league, that results in this scenario. And it was hard to figure out, but I liked that.
Yeah, I
Um,
like to try to figure that out too, because what you just said, I don't think is possible. But
no, they played each other, so it wasn't possible. But
but no,
um,
it was a lot of fun, and we were talking, all throughout the season, trying to think of, does 14 wins get in? Does 15 wins get in? It turns out 19, 19, 18, 16, 16, 16.
yeah, it ended up being 16. Could have been 15 if Nick had lost against the league this week. I would have gotten into 15 wins,
On a
but
tiebreaker
16
over
ended up being
him.
the magic number.
Yeah, with the same record, losing the tiebreaker to the playoffs would have been rough for him, but he was able to squeak through, like we said, with a not that great score on a pretty great week. But look at
Yeah.
a couple of these things. We got Shane dropping all the way down to fifth, and Kyle jumping all the way up to fourth when he was just 2 weeks ago battling to see if he even gets into the playoffs.
Yeah, I have to highlight Kyle. He had, I think, pretty much assumed, we were laughing about how bad his team was and how he maybe would, how well he performed in the Chump League. And what a run this man has had. Now fourth seed, um, and even more so, basically um, kind of the season's, you know, co-champion with you. You got the most wins on the year with tiebreakers. He got the highest points for somehow. You had a very respectable points for. Certainly wouldn't say you didn't deserve the number one seed, especially given how bad his team was in the year, but won 29 points ahead of you to end that year. And his beginning of the season was awful. I think he was in last place or near last place in points for half the season.
Yeah. No, he's been having incredible weeks, very boom weeks, 120, 130, 167 last week. And kind of let him in. I know I kind of let him do that. Just my team put up, 105, 102, and then what, 93 in the last couple of weeks. So I've kind of let him just come in. But yeah, looking at the divisional record, which is actually head to head, we can see why Katie's team is ranked so high because me, and Kenny are all 10-4 on the league. So she's been winning the games that matter.
Yeah, that's really interesting because yeah, she's in what is that? Eighth place in the year in terms of points for. Not a especially strong showing by itself, but really played the matchups. And the yeah, 10-4 means that she performed overall very poorly against the league median. And so, had that year we're talking about just really lucky against having it with opponents having bad weeks. Didn't matter. She made the playoffs and was in third place.
Hmm.
So, um, this against the league median setup does not take luck out of the game in a good way, I think. I like these stories to show up because this is a game about dealing with randomness and controlling the small piece of the pie that you can.
Also going 7-0 on the road. Looking at it, her and Carson, the only two people that played 7 home games and 7 away games. I know that doesn't matter too much in fantasy, but this is the official call. Matt, let me do the schedule next year, and we'll all be playing the same amount of home and away games. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Matt's a bit traumatized by whatever it was he had to go through this year, which sounds like was a ton of work. I also did play seven home and away, 4-3, 4-3.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people did not, and a lot of people, maybe much more impactfully didn't, had like three games against the same team or something random like that. But yeah, the final standings, just to make that explicit, first seed was your team, second seed was Kenny, third seed was Katie, fourth seed was Kyle, fifth seed was Shane, sixth seed was Ducky, and then rounded out by me, Carson, Kyler, Matt, mid-tier Nick, and John. But the toilet bowl rankings really were impacted by the extent to which the ninth through 12th teams did sell this year for next year. So we'll see how well those teams in particular are able to respond with their extra draft picks.
Hmm.
And what about the news around the NFL?
Yeah, we got a couple things going on. Obviously, the huge news in Indianapolis, Daniel Jones torn Achilles, get better. That's really rough for him, but there's a very, very, very good chance that Philip Rivers plays this week for the Colts against the Seahawks. I just watched his introductory press conference right before the show. I am pumped. I'm not saying I'm trying to pick him up for fantasy because I think there is a real possibility he throws for 303, but he also could, not do well and not ever be able to play football again. For his 10 kids and one grandchild, it's
You're
very,
talking
very
about
exciting
Grandpa
news.
Phil, right?
Grandpa Phil, who's they're saying his oldest kid is in college as a starting quarterback, but he's also a grandfather. I'm not going to try and do any math there. But other news around the league from the Commanders, Jaden Daniels just got ruled out for Sunday, and Zach Ertz torn ACL last week. Sad to see it for him at the end of his career, but maybe he'll make a comeback like Phil Rivers did.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Philip Rivers, but really interesting story. But fortunate that the news segment is that short this week. Not a big injury week.
I didn't necessarily pick a lot of injuries for small time players that are probably not going to be on the playoff rosters, but yeah, it's not bad. But I'm very excited to watch some football this week, especially Colts Seahawks.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, thing is really interesting this year in the NFL as well. A lot of talk about the parity and, tons of good teams not making the playoffs this year, perhaps. The Colts kind of collapsing here after early start. But very fortunate to have our guests, both Kyle and Ducky, on the show. So let's have them in and get them involved here.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, welcome Nick and Kyle to the show. I'm very pleased to have Benny and Brittany on the show as well. Um, the sexto box, if you will.
Not as good as the Octobox.
Not as good as the Octo box,
Are we
but
in the
yeah,
witching hour of the fantasy league?
Yeah, where wins become losses and losses become wins. That's exactly what happened last week. I know Ducky, you and Nate were sweating it back and forth on one of you was pretty clearly going to miss the playoffs here after Kyle got off to a really hot start.
I lost at least 10 years of my life watching that Chiefs game.
yeah, that Chiefs game was a lot. Just the madness around, Shane being projected at like 130 points the entire weekend until Sunday night when all of a sudden he's getting 93 points. Um, I mean, I thought it was fun because I was on the outside trying to come in, so I got to kind of taunt you a bit. But where meanwhile, the embarrassment to be had if you're the super team of super teams is watching the playoffs.
Yeah, that was gonna be pretty rough if I was gonna be honest with you. But as it turned out, even Katie didn't even beat me, so I actually was like the fifth spot or the fourth spot or something like that.
Yeah, she got the median win with 97 points, which was the lowest of the season.
Yeah.
So that finally caught up with people because not only were the tanking teams bad, but the teams that weren't tanking were somehow bad, like Nick and
Yeah.
Shane.
Well, I think the highest score that wasn't Kyle was like 106 or something like that.
We had a
I was 106. I
127.
was in fourth, but
I think Kenny did all right.
Yeah. Kenny was. Did he get over 110? I didn't
Yeah,
he
think
got
there was
122, I believe.
a 120 there.
Okay.
And then meanwhile, Kyle, I think you very quietly had maybe the best score of the whole year.
Yeah, I was just gonna throw in there. Yeah, if this is the Sexto box and we're doing the fantasy witching hour, you guys got to bring the ads back to the show. And one
Oh, I
of Red Zone.
we need to. Our
If that joke flew over anybody's head.
no, I've only heard about the red zone drama this year, but very appropriate to get our ad writer back in the studio, perhaps. But yeah, Kenny got 129 actually. I was wrong.
How did he
And
get to 129? He was projected like 106 at one point.
let's see. It looks like
The Chargers defense. Got like
Oh,
8
he
points
got the
and
Eagles
versus
and
fumbles.
Cameron Dicker booting it.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, apparently Puka had a great week.
No, I knew about Puka because he was the only thing on his team. He actually was the reason that I'm in the playoffs.
Yeah. It really yeah, like I said, a lot of fun to watch last week, just watching everyone go back and forth. I knew that if Justin Herbert had a really good game, I would have been in the playoffs and quite possibly knocked you out there, Ducky. But obviously, Justin, that you guys were watching the Eagles and Chargers game, it wasn't much going on there.
That was
Oh, there was
the worst
stuff going
football
on.
game.
There wasn't a lot of points
There
being
was
scored.
stuff going on.
No, if you had, so the way I was looking at it going into Monday night, and if you had beaten me, you would add to beat me but lose to Nate for me not to make it. Because if you beat Nate, I was still in the playoffs.
Right.
But yeah, it must have been more fun watching it from the outside.
It was, of course I wanted to be in, but it's much more fun just getting to point out all the various things that could have gone wrong to get you in. I had to unfortunately root for Pat Mahomes to do that, but was kind of happy too for your own terror. Got to watch a number of teams just be very close to ruining it for you, including one big catch by my own Nico Collins. We were just talking about, you're telling me, well, you still got to beat Snickers and got to go over the league median. And then one catch later, I have 10 more points. That was that.
Oh, that was the worst. And then all of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes just starts throwing picks everywhere. And not only am I happy as a football fan, but I'm like, there's a real possibility that Shane doesn't break 100.
Yeah, one of the worst games of his career, I have to think.
I can't imagine this. He had like a passer rating of like 19.
Yeah, it's his first career game
isn't
of
there like a
no
baseline
touchdowns
where if you take a knee,
and
it's like
3 picks.
30 something?
Yeah.
You spike it every time. Yeah, you get like 30.
Spike it, that's what it was.
And then meanwhile, Jalen Hurts also, at least statistically, had just an awful. I don't know if he finished in the positives. When I went to bed, he was still negative fantasy points. So
Yeah, 2 turnovers in 1 play.
I think he had like 5 turnovers total, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was negative.
Oh, yeah, finished with 0.4 points.
Wow, what a day.
And at least they lost. So I was going to say, and the Eagles won, but of course they didn't. So now we have actually not revealed our playoff brackets yet. Wanted to get your guys' live reactions. So I'm going to pull that up. So obviously this is my bracket here. Ducky, you and Katie are in the first round. Kind of lucked out. I mean, no offense to Katie, but her team is the weakest playoff team, even though she's in third place. I have you going all the way to the finals, and I have you, Kyle, going all the way to the finals, and I have you being the three-peat. I think you finished just too strong to lose at this point.
The law of averages comes around for everyone, and she's a cruel mistress.
It does. Ducky definitely knows how that goes in the last 2 weeks here. But
4 Snickers. I've broken 110 once in the last 4 weeks since I've assembled this super team. I have averaged probably 117, and that's only because I dropped 150 on John.
Yeah. But once again, Nate pandering to the guests. I feel like he does this every year. That being said, I also chose both you guys to win your first round matchups.
Oh, hell yeah.
Here's Nick's lineup here. Following in the tradition of the show, whenever you're in the playoffs, of course, you pick yourself to win. Wouldn't expect anything less. The biggest difference here, Kyle, is looks like he has no faith in you against Kenny.
Hey, I understand that. Yeah, it would be a nice little finals rematch from last year. So be some karma there if that ended up being the matchup and he got me.
No, I don't. Has Kenny been to the finals before last year? Ever? Do you guys know? I know he hasn't won in our league, but I kind of want to pull a Ducky on him and just bring him to the finals and have him keep losing.
The Buffalo Bills of our league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this would be Kenny's second final berth, if so. And just to remember who you beat in previous final years, I know it was Kenny last year, and it was you, Nick, the year before that, right?
The other guest on the show, yeah.
And then the year before that, it was the Katie Shane finals, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you have it. I think both of you probably prefer my bracket, of course. So got the you guys on my side that this is going to be my 4th year in a row of winning the bet against Nick. I need pretty much all this to go right, I believe, to beat Nick for the personal
Yeah,
betting
I'm
this
up 2
year.
points in the bet right now, and we're doing 1 point for each round, and then 3 points if we get the last round correct.
But if we look ahead to, so both of you are in the
Did you
matchups
guys
this week,
choose
of
the
course.
same week one winners, both me and Kyle?
We
Yeah,
did
we
it
did.
blindly, but yes, I subconsciously blocked Nate from getting any points on me that week.
Smart
Now
play.
both of you are in the week one matchups. Let's look at your matchup first, Kyle. Not favored in the projections, but not that that's mattered recently. But yeah, what's your path to victory here?
No, man, I'm feeling good. I somehow jumped up to the 4 seed, so I like that this game is at home as opposed to on the road at Shane's place.
Yeah.
We all know how ravenous and unruly Shane's fans can be. I think they famously one time booed Christopher Columbus on Columbus Day, so you never want to go into that Lions Den, but
Yeah,
yeah,
they're
we'll
pretty
be at home.
indigenous over there.
Yeah, at home in front of our home fans. Yeah, I feel like we're playing our best fantasy football at the right time here.
Mm. Yeah, I've been looking at this matchup a little bit, and I'm looking at kind of mano a mano here, who you're facing against. Dak Prescott at home against Minnesota defense. Minnesota's pretty good, but Dak at home has been incredible here. Michael Wilson having not a great matchup. Everyone is doing poorly against the Houston Texans. So I know that's your favorite player in the league, but it's gonna be tough. AJ Brown, good matchup. Woody Marks, pretty great matchup, and he is the only running back on the team. But yeah, Shane has a bunch of touchdown guys. Taylor, Devontae Adams, Devon Achane. Obviously, Mahomes probably gonna have maybe a better week, although Chargers are not a great matchup either. So it's gonna be pretty close. I don't think 10 points is gonna be the deciding here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important player, yeah, would be someone who's not even in the lineup, be Marvin Harrison. If
Yeah.
Marvin gets ruled out, I think it's a pretty one-to-one correlation that Michael Wilson's automatically turns into a top 5 fantasy receiver in the league. I think just looking at the quick practice reports, Harrison didn't practice today, so hopefully trending to him being out again. And if so, yeah, I know it's a tough matchup, but stay in the flames, man. Ride with Michael Wilson here. And I also just want to throw out quickly that we've been rolling with sort of 2 game day captains all
Mhm.
year. I mean, Dak and Josh Jacobs have really been our emotional leaders, both in the locker room and on the field. But we have a guy in our roster who really has a personal vendetta against our opponent this week. So we're proud to announce that Chase Brown will also be an honorary captain for us this week.
Oh,
Yeah,
excellent. Yeah, obviously the history there well documented.
very cool, very cool. Nate, how do you think this is gonna go?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I think Kyle's going to win. I think that Shane's team obviously has the guys on paper you got to worry about are Achane and Taylor, running backs 1 and 4 on the year. Although Achane has had some huge blow up weeks, projected as always at something crazy this time, 22 points apparently. Um, Meanwhile, though, Justin Jefferson has been very quiet this year, worst statistical year of his career. And Shane is also looking pretty weak at tight end this week. Isaiah Likely is a last minute pickup from the waiver wire, averaging 4 points on the year. Don't know if there's an injury for Mark Andrews maybe that I don't know about.
Nope, just a
It's just
good
the
matchup against
Bengals.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. The Bengals are like historically bad against tight ends this year. So
All right, so maybe playing a backup tight end there will work out. I know that Isaiah Likely is kind of unique amongst backup tight ends because he can have a big week, but hasn't really been doing that this year. Um, and Shane benched Tony Pollard, who got 31 points last week. He um,
He scored
currently
those
has him
points
on
on
his
his
bench
bench. Yeah.
again, and so we'll see.
I
He
don't think
also
he's gonna
benched
put him in,
Etienne
but
last week. He had I think his bench scored more points than his starting roster.
Nate, you're done.
Yeah, if that had been the difference between my playoffs or not, I would have been upsetting. But I guess for better or worse, also needed one other person to beat you. So,
Something I also, Kyle and I were looking at this earlier. I think this is Jonathan Taylor's lowest projection ever.
Since he's become
16
a star,
points.
yeah.
Yeah, he's been averaging 24 points thereabouts. He's been having pretty pedestrian weeks actually since Shane traded for him. I'm kind of glad that I didn't end up getting him in the sweepstakes there because he wouldn't have gotten me to the playoffs. So kind of was fortunate that that trade went to Shane instead. He still, since he's in the playoffs, can still benefit from this trade with some big weeks, but obviously not the 30s and the 50s that we're used to seeing in weeks 5 through 10. Now we also got your matchup, Nick, against Katie.
The last thing I'll say about my matchup here is best of luck to Shane, but there's no way I'm losing to an auto drafted team.
Hey, was his team auto drafted this year? I'd forgotten about that.
Mostly, I don't think he was there, right?
He was at a wedding.
He was at a wedding. He missed like 4 or 5 picks.
He was at a wedding, yeah. Good points. I don't know if there's very many players still on the team from that, but you're right. That's extra chip on your shoulder there. Now, meanwhile, Nick, you have maybe the highest projection I've ever seen, unless you had a higher projection like 2 weeks ago. 137 is pretty crazy though. And you haven't really come close to your projections in recent weeks, but the buys are over. Injuries seem to be treating you pretty well at the moment, which has not been something you could say about your team. Yeah. Is there any world in which Katie comes out on top here?
If you scroll about an inch or two up on your screen, Nate, scroll up.
Inch or two.
A little higher. Oh, no, too far, too high. Yeah, previous matchups. That was 2 weeks ago with this exact roster. So, yes, there is very much a world that she beats me. I went and looked at it because I was actually curious. She's averaging like 100 points a week, which is probably one of the lowest I've ever seen a playoff team make it. And she's averaging, I think, 90 something points against. I think what was it, Kyle? Like 10 or 11 weeks, her opponent didn't break 100.
She has definitely played the best fantasy defense of anyone in the league this year.
So there very much is a world, like, of all the people that I could be facing, she's definitely the team that I feel like I could beat the easiest. But if there's a fantasy god out there, he is betting heavily on Katie.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw that in her matchups this year, despite the low average. Head to head, she was 10-4 this year.
Which is the same record as me and Kenny.
I don't think I'm 10-4 in head to head.
Nope.
No, you're not. We can tell you what you were head to head this year.
I guess that makes sense. Like with the
7-7.
Yeah, with her low points scored, probably wasn't getting the double win a lot of weeks. So yeah, I had to go pretty high on the head to head.
So I'm benefiting heavily from this new roster, the top 6 win thing. Otherwise, I think I might have missed the playoffs because of that.
I think I would have been. I was 7-7.
Yeah, so you and I.
Both of you were. I actually, if we had done this head to head, I would have had a better record than both of you this year.
Yep. But that's why we switched it up. Stronger teams made it.
But that was actually, I know you did that study last year, Nick, about how it would be different. The only difference would, I guess, be that I would be in the playoffs and presumably you wouldn't be. Although it would all depend on what the head-to-head matchups were for you and Kyle. But I guess since Kyle got at least one win last week, it would have gone down to points 4.
Yeah,
so.
we tied.
It's weird. If you click on and you sort by division, wouldn't it? It should tell you, right? It'll tell you who's in it.
Oh, I could sort by division. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, so, Kyle out.
Based on
this, I don't think that they're taking those tiebreakers into account. I don't know how they decided the ties there. But we know that Kyle scored more points than you on the year, and you guys were 1-1 in head-to-head, so it would have to be Kyle. But yeah, going back to the matchup here.
So I think my team got their egg out. They kind of they saw that they were likely locked up the playoffs, so they kind of took a couple weeks off to rest themselves. I think they're going to come out swinging, and I think we're going to drop a big nuke week 1, make a statement. Plus, we got the veteran Mike Evans back. He may ride the bench for the week, or maybe we'll start him. We'll kind of see how he feels going into tomorrow. But with the veteran presence, it should help really push these younger guys, the JSN and the Bijan and the Tyler Warrens, to really just show up and ball out.
So wait, sorry, who was the veteran president again?
Mike Evans.
Ah, the veteran president on your bench. Is that right?
Yeah. Did I cut out a little bit there? Because
no, you're good.
Okay, no, yeah, like I said, Nate, it's just we're gonna see how he feels. We don't want to push him too hard, but you having a guy out there, just even on the sidelines, just hyping everyone up. It's important to the boys playing out there. I mean, calling out audibles and stuff like that, just letting JSN know that maybe if he just runs straight, he can get a 97-yard bomb.
So, Ducky, you're not playing into the theory at all that Mike Evans is still going to get his 1,000-yard season?
Oh, I'm playing heavily into that. That's
650 yards or something in the next 4 weeks.
You guys are in for a rude awakening. It just may not be this week that I'm ready to really push him out there yet.
That also includes week 18, obviously. So if he gets 300 yards in week 18, doesn't matter. But
correct, which is what happened last year with Derrick Henry. And I remember looking back and being like, wow, that would have been great week 15 when I was in the playoffs.
One of the things that's striking about the team you put together, Nick, is besides your flex spot, which is player rank 48, your worst ranked player is your kicker, who's ranked 6. So you've got I'm
surprised Boswell is that low, because I feel like Pittsburgh's just can't score touchdowns. So I feel like he's kicked a million field goals.
Yeah, but besides that, I feel like you have 5 first-round draft picks next year on your team.
If JSN goes in the first round, then I would say at least 4.
Yeah, I think these 4 players right here definitely.
Yeah, I think 4 is a pretty safe bet.
And then,
I guess we can say Mitchell is going to be the 5th first-round pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah. Let's take a quick look at the waiver wires. Obviously, we all think, Nick and I both think that you'll win, Ducky, this week. But there was a little bit of a battle between you two for the Jaguars' defense, of all things, and you dropped Kamani Vidal, one of the players you traded for this year, to get him.
Yeah, no, he was serviceable in his time. Now Amarian's back. Trying to pick up a defense for the playoffs, and honestly, I was so locked in. I picked up the Jaguars to play them this week, even though I don't need to play them this week.
That's why I was really confused. I'm not saying the Jaguars aren't a good defense, but I was kind of shocked that you were like, "Oh, I'll go for $7," and I was like, "They're playing the Jets week 15, and you don't need that."
Yeah, but the other big win there was beating you by $1, having a perfect bid.
That was, yeah. It broke my heart when I saw it this morning.
And your team was pretty quiet this week, Kyle. I actually don't know how much money you have left. We can look into that, but maybe save a little bit for upcoming weeks. So you got $5. Okay.
If you wanted a sub at Subway 10 years ago, I can get you that, but can't really get you a player on waivers right now.
Well, you never know. Sometimes people just don't put in bids. I've learned, because they assume they can't afford them. So your $5 could end up stealing the prize of the playoffs.
I feel pretty good about the squad. I mean, we're pretty certainly not as top heavy as other teams in the league, but I feel we're pretty well rounded. Both starting lineup and guys on the bench who can fill in.
Yeah, and it's still a number of highly ranked players, including your kicker, who was huge for you last week, 2 on the year, got a huge defense, which is one of those things that's hard to predict, but when you have a good defense, that matters a lot. Brock Bowers apparently has been good this year.
Potential keeper, Brandon Aubrey. Don't tempt me.
So I've seen a stat that Brandon Aubrey should have been a first-round pick. He's wide receiver 7. He's quarterback 13. He beat so many players that went in the first round that he scored more points than them. He's
averaging more than Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. He's definitely scored more than Justin Jefferson. It's not an insane thing to take Brandon Aubrey in the first round next year.
I was talking.
It all depends on positional advantage. I mean, I don't know how much he's ahead of his fellow kickers, but if it's a point per game still doesn't matter. But when he gets 30 points in a game or whatever he did a week or two ago.
Did you guys watch the Detroit game?
Yeah.
It was the most effortlessly 60-yard field goal I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Somebody's got to
And 250s.
Make that man's leg pee in a cup.
But yeah, any other thoughts on the playoffs this week, guys, before we close out?
Well, it's fun. It's been a really fun year. I'm also playing Shane in Drunk League, so I'm either going to be really happy, we're going to split, or you're going to see me cry. So
yeah, congrats, Duck. I just noticed yesterday that I got the bye in the Drunk League, so congrats. We'll face each other in the finals probably.
I don't know. I think Shane is the usually the front runner and all that in Drunk League, and he usually gets 6 total losses in 3 years, and then gets knocked out in the first round. So there could be a curse going on over there. I might be knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, let's see how it goes,
was very honored to have another playoff contender in the Drunk League join us this week. And Brittany, she drafted very well. She's made some shrewd start-sit decisions throughout the year, and want to give her credit.
Simone Biles, MVP.
Shout out Brandon, who drafted her team and drafted, I believe, Marc-Andre Fleury at the first overall pick.
That was Katie's team. That's how we split them up. So Marc-Andre Fleury was drafted and Simone Biles was drafted. So Katie got Marc-Andre Fleury's team and Brittany got Simone Biles' team.
Well, and some magic sauce there. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys, and we'll see you all next week. See how it went.